Hi, good morning everyone. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the CIMA Strategic Case. In this video series, we are going to break down the CIMA Strategic Case Study pre-seen in a way that is exam focused, structured and practical. This series is built for CIMA Strategic Case Study students only, generally, and everything we do here is anchored strictly in the official pre-seen. No theory for theory's sake, no generic strategy. The first session is about getting the context right, because if you misunderstand the context, everything else you write in the exam collapses. So it is important to understand the context. In this session, I want to do four things. First, clarify how CIMA expects you to use the pre-seen. Secondly, define your role in the exam. Thirdly, establish the strategic context around Cewmlator. And fourth, help you to avoid the single biggest cause of failure, which is generic answers that ignore the pre-seen. The pre-seen is not the background reading, it is exam evidence. CIMA expects you to anchor your judgment in the pre-seen even when the requirements refer to an unseen scenario. That means the pre-seen becomes your reference point for risk, feasibility, credibility, and constraint. The pre-seen is not something you summarize in the exam, it is not optional, and it is definitely not to place to demonstrate the textbook strategy. Students generally lose marks by repeating what CIMA already knows, examiner already knows. Marks are generally rewarded for application and judgment and not the description. In the exam, you are not a student and you are not an analyst. You are a senior finance manager working in Cewmlator's finance department, finance function. You report to the board, advise on the strategic decisions. Your answer must sound commercial, balanced, and risk averse. If your answers sound academic, it will not score well. From the pre-seen, Cewmlator is a quoted company listed in Duxland, reported under IFRS and operating globally. But the most important point on the slide is the last one, where it says it's only battery electric vehicle which it manufactures. That single fact drives a huge amount of strategic risk and opportunity. Unlike many competitors, Cewmlator has no hybrids and no ICE vehicles. There is no transition hedge. This creates clear positioning and strategic focus, but it also creates concentration risk. Cewmlator is fully exposed to EV adoption rates, infrastructure readiness, and consumer behavior. Here in this pre-seen, CIMA gives you explicit market data where it says 17 million EV sold globally in 2024. EV represents 25% of global new car sales. The market is worth around 250 billion Duxland dollars. But most important thing is the adoption varies significantly by country, and that last point matters more than the growth headline. Now the market is growing, but it is fragmented. Adoption is policy driven, infrastructure dependent, and uneven across regions. Any strategy that assumes uniform global demand is fundamentally weak here. CIMA expects you to recognize variation, not just growth. Governments plan to ban new ICE sales after 2030. That's mentioned very clearly in the pre-seen. But the pre-seen is also very clear. The current demand for ICE vehicles remain high. EV demand is not yet strong enough to force an early switch, and this matters for timing, cash flow, and the capital investment decisions. And this creates a clear strategic tension. Long-term EV adoption is inevitable. Short-term customers are resistant. High-scoring answers generally acknowledge both the sides, but the low-scoring answers always talk about only sustainability and ignore the commercial reality. So that is a place where you generally lose some marks. The pre-scene explicitly lists customer barriers, higher purchase prices, range anxiety, charge inconvenience, battery degradation concerns. And these are not only marketing issues, these are strategic constraints that affect demand forecasting, pricing, and investment decisions. Examiners are generally looking for four things here: explicit use of pre-seen facts, selective intelligent use of frameworks, clear judgment under constraints, and a board level tone. And this is not about showing how much theory you know, it is all about the judgment and the board level representation. That's what examiner is looking for in here. Now across this series we will break down every major pre-seen section clearly. We will translate information into the exam logic, and we will build answers that sound like they are coming from the senior finance professional and not just from a student. In the next